Hey, Dragon Slayers. It's been about, let's see, I don't even remember how long it's been. It's been about an hour and 8 minutes since my last meal, and my blood sugar is at 98. So I broke my 3 day fast today, and man, it was quite the epic meal. So I did my normal fast breaking where I have a little bit of bone broth and a little bit of fermented veggies with a probiotic. Then I wait 2 hours and then I have a little bit of protein. I had some salmon, very small, like less than an ounce of salmon, with more fermented vegetables. And then I wait another hour, and then I had a little bit of collard greens that I made, and then I kept waiting an hour. I broke it slowly over the course of about 6 to 8 hours. Then for my full meal, I ended up eating 2 bushels of collard greens, and then I ordered some mots. They're called, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a bunch of Spanish seafood, like canned seafoods. So I had a little bit of, it was like 3 ounces of octopus and 3 ounces of sardines and lemon, and like it was a bunch of stuff, but it was all super high protein, sticking to the diet, did not cheat. Had a few blueberries, like maybe a fourth of a cup of blueberries, but that was my whole meal. So today's video is all about the 3 pillars of the PE diet. So there are 3 basic strategies for dietary improvement that underline all of the advice in his book. So number 1 is increase protein percentage. Number 2 is decrease carbohydrate frequency. And number 3 is to avoid high carb and high fat together. So increasing protein percentage. How much you eat is completely dependent on what you eat. By focusing on food choice and food selection and intentionally eating higher protein foods, you will automatically tend to eat less. So that's like phase 1. Phase 2 is about decreasing carbohydrate frequency. And it says reducing the frequency with which you eat carbohydrates forces your body to become more fat adapted or able to function using only stored body fat without a consistent influx of dietary carbohydrates. The fact that this is initially quite difficult further underscores the reality that this is a form of metabolic exercise, almost like weightlifting for your metabolism. If you strengthen this, you will reap the rewards of being much less tired of frequent and much less tied to frequent eating. The stability of blood sugar and mood, as well as the ability to live your life without being a slave to meal times and snack times. It's well worth the transient discomfort of the fat adaptation process. And then part 3 is avoiding high fat and high carb foods at the same time. Foods that are simultaneously high in carbohydrate and fat with a high energy density are rarely found in nature, and they are highly palatable and addictive. These foods completely hijack our society and mercilessly drive overeating. And so I thought this was pretty interesting because these 3 concepts keep coming up throughout his book, that you want to increase your protein percentage. And it's not actually about increasing the amount of protein you're eating per se, it's increasing the amount of all the calories that you're eating. To protein should be a higher percentage of that. So, what this looks like in practical terms is, let's say right now you're eating 100 grams of protein, and then you're also eating like 70 plus grams of fat and 200 or 300 grams of carbohydrates. It's shifting it more to the protein side. So maybe your overall protein might only go up 20 grams. So you start eating 120 or 130 grams, but your carbohydrates are coming way down, like sub 50, preferably even sub 20 if you can manage it. And then your fats are going to stay the same or maybe increase slightly. So it's all about your protein percentage and not how much protein you're eating in grams. His recommendation is usually around 1 pound per ideal body weight or your target body weight. And I'll get into those formulas in more details later. But just remember that those are the 3 pillars of his book: increase protein percentage, decrease carbohydrate frequency, and avoid high fat and high carb foods together. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.